Hello and welcome to Press Start. On today's episode, we're going to review Silent Hill Downpour and Silent Hill HD Collection. After that, we're going to go into the PlayStation Vita and look at all its features. And we're going to go over that because it's kind of a new console and we really want to talk about it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. During the filming of Press Start, PlayStation Vita arrived. It is Sony's new handheld console. I happen to have bought one, and here it is. It's really nice. It's a nice successor to the PSP. You have Near, which shows you other people who are near you using their PlayStation Network accounts. You have your trophies, which you earned on PlayStation 3 and your Vita. Your friends list. And actual party chats. You can actually voice chat people, unlike on PlayStation 3, which has a very limited party chat system. And here are my games. I downloaded Persona 3 from the PlayStation Marketplace, which is very easy to access. I also downloaded Little Big Planet, Silent Hill Origins, and Killzone Liberation. These are PSP games, and they are backwards compatible. You have the basic stuff. There's a camera here. There's a camera in the back. Also in the back is a full touch panel. This is something I haven't seen before. When you're playing some games, you basically access it and just touch. So it's kind of like a whole nother bunch of buttons and a whole nother screen back here. You have Facebook, Twitter, Netflix. They also have Foursquare. I'm going to use Foursquare, but these are the ones I use. And because of the screen, Netflix looks just amazing. The OLED screen is very vibrant. It's something you don't really see in like standard TV sizes because it's really expensive. It's a really kind of new technology. And the colors are just really good. I have two games with me. I have Touch My Katamari and Rayman Origins. I bought both of these games because they really accentuate the screen's vibrancy. And I haven't played this series in a really long time. I've never played this. So I kind of did a risk and bought both of these, and I'm really happy with them. They're both very fun. Sony's also going to add PlayStation 1 support, so I can download a PlayStation 1 game, play it on this, no problem, and that's going to be really cool. So we'll do a little demos of Rayman and Katamari. But here, check it out.
What is this place?
The moment has finally arrived. A new Silent Hill game is here. It's not a prequel or reimagining, it's a full-blown sequel on current generation consoles. Arriving to players 4 years after Silent Hill Homecoming, Silent Hill Downpour has made its way to the world. Is it a worthy sequel to a franchise deemed as art by many of its fans? Let's see.
Can't say I understand the question. This is a busy town.
Silent Hill Downpour puts players in the role of Ryle State convict Murphy Pendleton. Like past protagonists before him, Murphy is pulled into the town because of his troubled past. During mid-prison transfer, Murphy's bus crashes off-road on the outskirts of the foggy and mysterious town of Silent Hill. This is where his adventure begins. Once control of Murphy is given to the player, one can see that he plays quite fluidly. Murphy moves with ease and escapes the annoying control constraints that a lot of survival horror games use and feel like they need to use. Downpour's over-the-shoulder camera perspective really works well because of its placing and angle. During the later levels in the town and the other world, the camera lends to the aesthetics and design in such a way that many scenes feel significant and focused. Murphy is also one of the most talkative and passionate protagonists in the series. Finally, we have a character that's more vocal about the nightmarish things he has witnessed. Nathan Drake he's not, but Murphy can slide between objects, walk across platforms, and hop over small ledges. It's nothing acrobatic, but it's so welcome and needed in a modern Silent Hill game. Supernatural shackles can only extend so far. The mechanics of Downpour gives the player an option to partake in either fight or flight. Being a survival horror game, taking flight is a wise tactic to employ. Damaging a nice weapon with unnecessary fight or holding off using the only pistol found rings true to the genre. Downpour heavily emphasizes survival. When exploring the town of Silent Hill, random brainstorms come and go. If one decides to stay outside during a storm, they can expect more monsters with even more ferocious attacks. In a feature directly borrowed from Silent Hill Shattered Memories are the chase sequences. Thankfully, all Otherworld visits are not just chases, they're either or a mixture of both. This balance between the two creates a much-needed frantic element to accompany the slow and disturbing exploration of a nightmare come to life. If Murphy gets too close to the being, his skin and clothes start to burn away while time slows. It's a very nice effect and thankfully not frustrating like some similar death sequences in Shattered Memories ended up being. These sequences are frantic but still well designed. Getting lost or hitting confusing dead ends rarely happens. Combat, on the other hand, is a mixed bag. Fighting an enemy is a risky endeavor, and while one can learn the right patterns to be able to take on one or two enemies comfortably, It still remains frantic. Despite this, it doesn't feel as tight as it could be. Everyday objects can be used as weapons, but the execution is not 100%. Murphy can block attacks to avoid damage, and running is always an option. Strangely, during combat, the camera retreats to show more of the ground, and the game sort of takes a brawler look to it. It just doesn't look right. In the case of guns, they can be cumbersome and feel weak, although it's worth noting that gunplay is quite thin and melee is going to be the primary means of combat. What I found to be a nice touch to Murphy's exploration was the use of weapons and tools. Some areas require the right weapon to be used as a means to break away an obstacle or pull down a ladder. This was also used in Silent Hill Homecoming, but it was specific to just one exact weapon, not a variety that can be used for the same purpose. No longer can an axe be the only way to remove wooden barriers. It's a small touch, but it makes the player reconsider which weapon to hold on to because of its other uses.
I don't know who you think I am, or what you think I've done.
Shut the hell up! You think this is funny, don't you? Well, let's see how funny it is with a fucking bullet in your head.
In the past, we've seen otherworlds of blood and rust, fire, mold, and ice. Downpour's Otherworld uses water to initiate transitions to a massive, detail-rich, moving machine hell. The set pieces for Downpour's Otherworld are amazing. The world becomes a living machine filled with mechanisms, moving parts, pipes, and other oddities. Coupled with the game's camera perspective, a strong emphasis on visual symmetry carries throughout the Otherworld. The game's use of lighting and color schemes also complement the environments. Shifts in dominant color tones appear and vary between rooms. Downpour is clearly the most vibrant of the games in the series, and it works well. Exiting a red-tinted hall into a blue-toned room is a subtle but a nice visual treat. Over the course of Murphy's journey, he visits new locations different from the last. Along with the town exploration, this gives one the sense that a lot of care and precision was put into the design of the game's layout. Levels feel well-balanced and aid the horror pacing that has been somewhat rare in modern horror games. Daniel Litch's score also plays very well with the scenes they accompany. Longtime series composer Akira Yamaoka may be gone, but his shoes have been filled by someone very talented.